basically a portrait event is a series of sessions that will happen on the course of one day with a host mom. And with the host mom, what I do is I look for somebody who's very well connected. That's one of my kind of criteria, and you'll hear me say that over and over. But I want that mom who's well connected and has those friends with the kids in the right ages. But whether it's whether you're doing this and you're doing it for brides that are bringing in their bridal party, or you're doing it for high school seniors, one of the things that we've done to just incorporate it into our high school senior product line is once a girl has done her high school senior session, which typically happens in the summer before their senior year, then they get to about January, and we're doing update sessions is what we call them in January. And we're working with these clients all year long because we bring them back. We also offer a free family portrait session to every high school senior client, bringing them in for that, bringing them in for an update session if they want it. We're selling the graduation announcements and invitations and items for their party in January and February when the studio is a little bit slower. So we're getting revenue that's already been shot, work that we don't have to do any more work on. It's already been done, so we're selling more at that time. Then after she graduates, we're going to call our high school seniors and let them know, hey, we would love for you to come back in for a portrait session before you go off to college. I'm sure lots of things have changed. How would you feel about inviting 10 of your junior high school friends? So we're getting introduced to the juniors now who are getting ready to have scheduled their high school senior sessions, and bring in 10 of your junior friends. You're going to be the host, and you can earn portrait credit for doing this. You're going to get a free session, and I'm going to tell you how you can earn $500 in portrait credit for those update photos. And the high school senior girls, they've already been through this whole process with us. So have their moms. They're very invested in us, and so it's a really exciting way to get access to the right, those qualified clients that are coming in for the next year. So, so there's ways that you can do this with any product line that you're doing. And we'll go through lots more of that and those ideas. But a portrait event is basically an event. And I think my next slide is it a portrait party? And yes, it basically is a portrait party. And and I hear that term thrown around a lot, and that's why I chose not to use it in what I'm doing in my business. And the other reason is just because I feel like portrait events just sound a lot more upscale, and that's what I want the conception to be, that it's a more upscale thing than a portrait party. But yes, that's basically what it is. It is, we're bringing in 10 people over the course of the day. They do have their own individual sessions, so they're not all coming at once. It's very planned. It's very strategic. There is a system in place, and I'm excited to share all of that with you guys today. So this is actually a really good stopping point for me if we're that close. When you have any questions?
Yeah, let's go with questions.
Maylee has a question.
Yeah, let's start here.
Yeah, talking about events, we do have some events like that, like Sweet 15s, and it's always like very fun and bring a lot of people. I would like to ask you, like, what is the best events the best events that you think to bring good clients and good cash? And a question that is always like on my mind is like, how do you do the after the viewings? Because we have like a very good process for viewing for afterwards, because each one have the separate session. So how do you do the viewings later, and how do you bring it up?
Well, and with this system, I'm sorry. With this system, we're actually showing them their images immediately following the session, and that's the way, to keep things all running smoothly. To be able to do that, we have to really prepare them before that time. And so we'll go through that whole process together of preparing the clients, getting their images of their walls, actually placing frame groupings on their walls before they ever come in, and getting them to invest in that process. So we do the sales in 30 minutes, as well as this. We schedule 30 minutes for the session, 30 minutes for the sale. And I personally take someone with me to do the sales. So I'm shooting, handing off a card, I'm starting the next session while they're selling. And so it's a very fast pace, but the only way that can happen and they can make those buying decisions in that 30 minutes is if they're very, very prepared. And so I'll walk you guys through that whole process of, making sure they are prepared, and when they sit down, it's just a matter of choosing their favorite images and they're excited to buy. So, and as far as the best portrait events, I think maybe you're asking about different kind of events, like actually going to photograph events instead of hosting.
Hosting.
Okay, so you were asking about hosting an event? Mm-hmm. Well, the most profitable for me is kids. So we'll talk through all the other things, and the reason any product line can be profitable. Photographing kids happens to be what I'm passionate about, and I only photograph kids during our portrait events. I photograph kids from sitting up through age 14. And the reason for that is I want newborns in my studio and those first year babies in my studio. I feel like if they're sitting up already, I've kind of missed that window anyway. And then I cap it at 14 because I do want high school seniors in my studio. And so that's kind of my philosophy on the age group that I've chosen, but you could do it with really any product line. No, did that answer
So
that?
your viewings always happen on the same day of your sessions?
Correct.
For every,
not for the studio, not for my regular studio sessions,
okay.
just for the events. Okay. However, because they work so well and it cuts down on the workflow so much, when you do these same day sales, the only images you ever have to touch are the images that have been ordered. So it's a wonderful, beautiful thing.
So when you're showing them, they're pre-edited. It's post processing, basically.
Yeah, that nothing's been done.
Untouched.
Yep, I shoot it and download my card, and so they're seeing it right then. And you'll see this whole process. But basically, what happens is I'm going to download my card, and you'll see me do it tomorrow instead of my salesperson. But what she'll do is when she sits down with the client, they know it's that I just popped it in there. There's going to be some uglies. I do edit in my camera. So if I know the child blinked or something was weird, or I feel like I probably wasn't, lock and focus on that, I'm just going to delete it in my camera. So they're not going to see it. But there are going to be some uglies. And so she's going to pop it in, and we're going to go through the process just like we do with every sale. And we're going to tell them, as we go through, I'm just going to show you your images. The only thing that they're not going to get in the beginning is a slideshow. So we're just going to go through the images with them, and we're going to tell them, we may run through these twice, so don't worry about getting down to the exacts. But as we go through, I want you to tell me if this is a yes, no, or maybe. And we've got 3 categories. Your no's, we're just going to throw out of the mix and not look at again. They're not gone forever, so you don't have to be afraid to put them there. But we're going to put those in the no's. Your maybes are going to be your biggest category. And we tell them that because we don't want them to be afraid to say maybe instead of yes. Because that's what happens a lot of times if you don't prepare them. If they're like, oh, I love everything. So we tell them your maybe is going to be your biggest category. Those are going to be images that you really like, and we can pull from those images when we're putting a book together or putting a multiple image piece together. We've got those to work from to tell the story. Your yeses are going to be your very favorites. The images that you put in the yes category are going to be the images that we choose product for. And we say that whether they're in the studio and they've come back a week later to view their images, or it's a portrait event, whatever it is, that's the flow of the way that sale starts, is we tell them, this is your yeses, your nos, and your maybes. And what happens with that is, even if we have to go back through a second time to view those images and narrow them down to get to those yeses for product only, they still have heard, if I say yes, I'm buying this. If it's a yes, great, we'll be choosing product from the images in the yes category. I've also told them that the maybes we can use to tell a story. So if they end up purchasing an album, and these are the albums from the Real Kids event, so they're templated, they're not custom designed like the ones we do in the studio, but it's still the same process. We're going to tell them your yeses are going to be your main images, the maybes will fill in to tell the story where we need them, and the nos won't be included. Is that okay? And that is it. They do not get one more choice in the design process. And I think that's where a lot of photographers a lot of times get bogged down in their sales appointments, is you're allowing the client to say, well, I want this on this page and these on this page and this is what I want here. No. Yeah. You got to keep that sales appointment moving. And even, our first year clients, the babies that come in at newborn, 4 months, 8 months, and 12 months, or they're, the whole entire year, we use the same process with them, and we're reminding them at every single session, when we do that first year album, your yeses are going to be the main images, the maybes will fill in where we need them to tell the story, and the nos won't be included. It's easy, simple, and it gets them in and out of the sales room, and it keeps them excited. Everything stays positive.
Okay, so it looks like we're gonna go back just a little bit. Some people had a couple CD image
Okay.
clarification
Of
questions. So Gregorian wants to know, it says, I like the fact that when your clients buy the print, they can get the same size digital files. What do you think about that?
I don't really think if someone's buying a 16 by 20, there's any reason for them to have a 16 by 20. Is that what they're saying?
I think to post, maybe, to, you know, like if you, let's say they buy an image, they may get that image for Facebook or whatever, a watermarked image.
Every image, yes. Every image that's ordered, no matter if it's a portrait event, a studio session, what it is, any image that's ordered, we give them that digital file. And it's free. We don't charge them anything for it. It is a web-sized version,
Great.
and we communicate that. If they do want to purchase files to print, we tell them our files are printable to 8 by 10. They are size 8 by 10, and of course we all know that they can print them to any size they desire. But that's what is printed is with their release that they get with it. Don't ever release your copyright. Only release the right to print. And we have on our right to print, it says for personal use only. That's another thing that's important to me. It doesn't mean that they're going to follow it 100% of the time, but if you've communicated to them that you have reprint rights for personal use only, and they're printable to 8 by 10. Again, they're not printing them anyway.
What size then of resolution if you're doing an 8 by 10? So you've cropped
I do
it
it
as
at-
sized as an 8 by 10.
8 by 10 at 300 DPI.
At 300 DPI.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. That's good to know, because then they can't go out and print another 16 by 20 for grandma if she wanted one too.
They could.
Yeah.
Well, I
they
mean, it's not
can.
going to look
Yeah,
as good.
I mean,
but yeah.
you can send it to any lab these days, and they'll do the upsizing
Yeah, I
for
guess
you,
they'll
and
upsize it for
they
them,
look
yeah.
great. But
Yeah.
but that's what we communicate. And honestly, nobody's going out and printing
Yeah.
16 by 20. I mean, they're just not.
Just not.
That's what our job is,
Yeah.
And I think that most people get that when you are a studio that focuses on wall decor. It makes complete perfect sense, that this digital file is for sharing all these great images that we got. I want to show off my kids, and that's why everybody's so addicted to social media, Instagram and Facebook, and they are so powerful. And I remember reading statistics when Facebook started, and even back in the MySpace days, when my kids were first on MySpace, and I was flipped out, like, what is going on here, And that was back in the day of, you could not be on the computer outside of the living room, because I had to know what was going on at all times. I mean, now our kids have access to everything, everywhere, anytime. So it's crazy even thinking about that now. But back in the day, we all got to be in one room. If you're on the computer, I got to know what's going on. Kids are on MySpace. And I remember reading statistics really early on about the percentage of moms in America that had a MySpace page. And it was like in the 80, 90 percentile. And it just blew me away. I was like, we're all so addicted to this now. We want to share our lives. We want to share our family and our images and our vacations and, all these things. And we crave the likes and the comments and all these things. And so, talk about give your client that power to expose you, talk about you.
Confirmation.
That's right. We all need confirmation. We all want to be loved.
All right, so I think we have time for maybe one more question
Okay.
before we go to break. Oh, we have a question in the audience.
It's just with the CD again, I'm sorry. But how do you deal with the logo thing? Because we have like a lot of clients that are like, oh, I didn't know that my CD will have, every single image will have like the logos. So
Well,
they're
if
kind
you're
of like,
selling it, it shouldn't have your logo on it. If you're giving it free with purchase, then your logo's on it. You're telling them this is going to be a web-sized version of every image you order that you are free to share. If I've given it to them for free, they can't tell me how I'm going to give it to them, But I honestly have never had anybody say anything to me about putting a logo. I have had people that have cropped the logo, even though we mention it. I'm not a stickler about it. I mean, we all have to get over that.
Yeah.
They're going to crop it. I mean, you post an image to your profile and it asks you to crop it, and we all want the most close-up thing that we can get on our profile. And so, and if you're concerned with it, ask your client, tell them, if you want this to be a profile image, I'm happy to crop it closer for you. And then you've solved the problem, by giving them a yes and making it a yes for your business.
I think that's so key. That was a little aha for me there, just in terms of if you're giving it to them, then you can give whatever you want, versus if they're saying, I'm buying this, then.
Yep.
That was great. That was awesome. Okay, one more quick question from Lamb Photo. I am trying to move away from handing over the disc with sessions. Can you give any tips on how to transition from, if you're already doing that? I feel like all my clients ask, want to have, and I'm scared to lose the business.
Well, really the best way to transition is to find a new specialty. And if you can communicate, well, what my specialty is this. And even if it's somebody, if you've got a past client that's coming in that maybe had a CD before, first of all, they may not be your client, may not be the right client for you. But if you want to continue working with that person, then you tell them, I'm so excited to share with you the new frames that I've discovered. I'm so excited to share with you this new design tool that I've discovered. Whatever it is, if you're excited about it, they're going to be excited about it too. And, and just part of our language from the first phone call is, what we specialize in is creating custom wall concepts for your home. And we're going to be talking to you about your home decor and your colors and the way you live, so that we can design something that's just for you, that you can enjoy every day, that you can share with your friends and family. We're communicating this language to them that is so different than photographer A, B, and C who they've called and they've asked the same question. Hello, this is such and such. Can you tell me how much your packages are? And they get an answer. Okay, thank you. And they hang up and they call the next one to price check. That's so normal, And so when they call our studio and they hear, oh, we would love to send you over our product menu. Let me get your email address and, tell me about who we're going to be photographing. And we restart this conversation. So we've said yes to them. We'd be happy to send you all of our prices, and we will. But we're not addressing it from the get-go. We're asking them questions about themselves and about their kids and who we're photographing and their lifestyle and getting to know them a little bit. And doing that begins the process of building value. And we're going to build value continued through that process by telling them what we specialize in is custom wall concepts for your home. We're going to be talking to you about your home decor, And you'll hear me spout all this again, and it sounds like it's like this little rehearsed thing. Well, it is. It is a script that we are communicating with our clients every single time, and that leads them through the process so that the mindset changes. All of a sudden, even somebody who called thinking, and I can ask them, have you thought about where you're going to hang your portraits? And someone might say to me, oh, I was just thinking we'd get an 8x10, one of those great big ones, and, and a couple of 4x6s. And I could say to that person, that's great. We're going to make sure you get all of those. But what we specialize in is, and we can go into the spiel. And so we're redirecting. And that would be my answer to someone who really wants to move from, selling that DVD or that's your main product, is decide on a different main product. And then learn how to communicate the value of that product, whether it's an album or wall portraiture or, whatever it is, communicate that. And then in the transition, maybe offer the CD as either an add-on or included with purchase. But, there's ways that you can transition very positively.